Are you a bookworm?
Definitely not.
No. We're really not qualified to talk about this. But I have read books.
Oh, have you now?
Yay me.
Congratulations.
I have read books. Why do you think you're not a reader? Why hasn't that become a hobby of yours? Statistically, apparently, men really not readers. Like apparently
Really?
On Richard Osman's podcast, he said that the statistics are heavily skewed to women in fiction and heavily skewed to men in non-fiction. So apparently, like, fiction books are mostly read by women.
Okay, interesting.
Non-fiction are mostly read by men. So
Do you think it's because women fantasize about
maybe we're
being swept away?
No, I think it's probably, if we're going back to biology, probably because we have a more maternal instincts. We're a bit more emotional, so we like to go into like stories of people's emotions and lives, whereas men are a bit more like, just want to know the information.
Interesting.
But why do you think you're not a reader?
I don't have the attention span, I don't think.
Do you think maybe you should force yourself to read to grow the
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I prefer if there was a book, like for example, we watched the film recently, Caught Stealing, and that's based off a book. I'm not going to read the book.
Well, you've watched the film. Right?
I've watched the film, but like,
if that story of the film was sold to you as a book and went, okay, so it's this guy and he's caught up in his drug deal, whatever, you wouldn't read the book. But if I sold you to that as a film, you'd go, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
I think books, they take a while, don't they?
They do, but then that's what's good about them. But then do they take a long time? If like, we know people who could read books very quickly.
Yeah, my sister-in-law reads a book in like 2 days.
And I actually think you read very quickly.
I do read very quickly. When I put my mind to it, I can read very
quickly.
quickly.
Could read a book in a couple of days, I feel.
Yeah,
which is great. Which I think is crazy. I still have this kind of child mentality about books, where I just think like a book takes like.
You are a bit of a slow reader. I'll be honest, you do read quite slowly. So I'm not surprised.
What do you mean?
Well, if we ever have to read something that's like we're reading it together, I read it and then I'm like, I sit back and I see you still like, it's just...
Yeah.
And then you go, I'm still here, and you point to like the second sentence. So I think you
are because but then you've done this for me before. You verbalized what's going on in your head. You've gone, and I'm thinking, whoa. You've skipped the, or you've skipped or you've skipped, and you say, yeah, I'm just getting like.
You don't need the thes and the us.
Yes, you do.
Not when you're reading.
Because it could be I saw the snake or I saw a snake. That's important. That's important.
Yeah, but my brain can register that at that speed.
See, I have to read it like in my head. Like when I think. When I'm thinking in my head, are you thinking? Are you saying words in your head? Like
no.
If I am, you see.
Oh, like, so you're reading every word.
Of course I am.
Like,
that's
there
reading.
once was a boy who went to
What would you say?
I'm just not reading them out loud, I'm just taking it in.
I don't get that. So I, like if I was thinking, oh, it's hot outside, my brain would literally, in my voice, say, oh, it's hot outside. Like, that's what happens in my head. I don't just go, like, the thought comes into my mind, hot outside. No, I say, like, oh, it's hot outside. Like, I say it in my head. And then when it comes to reading, then I have to read all the words.
What's the last book that you read cover to cover?
Game
of Thrones, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's the last one of them? Feast for Crows? No, Dance with Dragons.
Now, what motivated you? Because you're not a reader. What was it about those that made you want to go, yeah, I'll read those?
So, I'd watched the TV show. And I wasn't satisfied with the ending, as many people were. Yeah. My belief is that the ending of the books will be different to the show.
Right. So you want to like read them so that you can get a different ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Because wrongly, I thought that the next book would be out by now.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll catch up, and then I'll read the next book, and then the last book.
But when you were reading,
and I also have an existing knowledge of the characters. So this is bad as well. Is that I found it. It's weird with the Game of Thrones books, with the Song of Ice and Fire books. The characters that were in the show, completely fine with those characters.
Yeah.
But there was a whole storyline with a bunch of characters that are not in the show, and I really struggle to follow it.
Yeah.
I really struggle to follow it, even though I was just reading it.
That's why I do my weird thing that you say is weird. Because I read more than you, which is not like, but still not a lot. Every now and again, there's 2 authors that I follow and like, and one of them is Richard Osman, and he does a series called The Thursday Murder Club, And I really like those books because they're genuinely really funny, and that helps me keep engaged. But what I
You said
have
the other
to
day,
do,
you said that those books are quite good for British learning.
learning about like British English, it's very British. So my issue when I read a book is when a new character is introduced, I have to designate an actor, a famous actor to that character. So when I was reading, oh, who was she? Or for example, when I was reading the Thursday Murder Club, there's a character called Joyce, and I always pictured her as, I don't know the actress's name, but she is the woman in Sherlock. She plays like the landlady in Sherlock, and she's in loads of stuff. And I pictured her as her. And then like I pictured Ron, one of the characters is Ray Winston. So like I have to like almost make a cast in my head because I can't think of characters. And
which is scary, isn't it? Which is quite scary because
it's partly because if it's a real person, I can instantly go, there's that person. Whereas if I'm creating my own characters, when that person is mentioned, I have to go, now, did he have a beard or not a beard? I can't remember. And then I'm taking out the story because I'm trying to picture what he looks like. Whereas if I can just instantly go, that's Pierce Brosnan, then I can just instantly carry on with the story. So that's what I do so that I can follow.
But then, does it matter if he's got a beard or not? Because you're what it sounds like is you're playing a film in your head.
Yeah, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Whereas I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm trying to. The only way I can get invested is if I visualize it really in detail, and therefore I need real people and actors.
But then I feel like when I read with the only reference point we've got here is the couple of books we've read. When I read the Game of Thrones books, the description of some of the characters was so different to what they were in the show, and then that changed how I viewed. Like in my mind, it wasn't the actors from the show. Some of them were, but some of them weren't. Yeah.
That's the only way I can like get invested. And also like we have a friend who loves reading. Like he loves writing and reading. Yeah. And when he heard that I don't like reading, he made it his mission to try and like find me books that he thinks I would like, which is really sweet. And he bought me this book by an author called C.J. Tudor, and he went, I think you'll like this because my thing is with reading, I hate a page of just describing the scenery. I hate it when it's like, oh, and the meadows and the thing. Very descriptive writing. I just want to know what happened. Who said what happened next? Let's get to it. I don't want all the descriptions. So he said, I think you'll like this book because it's just every page something happens. Every page is like bam, 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 bam. And he was right. I really enjoyed that book. And I've since read most of that author's stuff because that style works for me. But my issue with reading is if I'm reading a book, I'm saying to myself, there is nothing else I could be doing with this time. Like this time is so empty and so free. I'm just going to sit and read a book. Whereas you've seen this. Every time I sit and go to open a book, I always go, I should probably do that thing. Oh, I have to do... And I find a list of things to do instead of reading that because to me I associate
like you'd rather clean the house or you'd rather...
Yeah.
You'd find anything to do.
Because I almost feel guilty about reading a book. It almost makes me feel guilty because I'm like, this is just like, I should... Do you know what I mean? I'm not achieving anything here.
But I don't feel guilty when I watch a film.
Yeah, watching a film is different.
I watch a lot of films. I've watched 149 this year so far, and I don't feel guilty about any of them.
Okay, watching a film is different because you know you're only setting aside like 2 hours.
Yeah,
if I start a book, I'm committed to that for ages then.
Not really. You could commit if you committed like an hour every 3 days, that's not...
Maybe
that's like 2 hours a week,
maybe
nearly.
Films are different because I do it with you and we watch it together and it's like a
I watch films
thing.
Together. On my own, sorry. I watch films on my own.
Yeah, but I'm saying like sort of how I feel about books. Like, because we do it together, I can justify it in my head as it's socialising, it's spending time with my husband. If I just sit there reading a book, you're not involved, it's just for me, I could be doing something else.
But there's something quite nice... I'm saying this, I don't read, do I? But there is something quite nice about it. I love going to a bookshop.
Sure.
I love going to a bookshop and saying, oh...
I do envy readers. I do...
Oh, I do, yeah. I watched the film last night where somebody was reading a book. And I was thinking like, oh, that looks nice. She's just like reading the book.
And the time I read the most is on holiday, but we don't go on holiday. So the last time we went on holiday, like 4 years ago, I read a book.
You did, yeah, you
and
did.
I really enjoyed it
Cover to cover.
because I know there's nothing else I should be doing. I'm on holiday, so I think I'll take a book when we go on holiday on the cruise, and I think I'll have a great time because I'm like, well, I'll read. What else am I going to do? I'm on a boat. I'll read the book.
But for me, I'm like, I'm on a boat. Wow. I'll just walk around, look at
Yeah,
stuff.
obviously I'll do that as well, but yeah, I think for me it's that guilt.
What do you think could make children be interested in reading?
Take away phones. Don't give them phones. If you try to give a phone to a 10-year-old or a book, the phone will always win.
Well, of course.
So just don't.
Well, that's the same with adults.
Yeah. I read a lot more when I was a kid before the internet.
Yeah. No, I actually did read quite a bit. Like I remember buying the Horrible Histories books.
I loved those.
And there was like a magazine. Did you used to get those magazines in school, sent to your school, and then you'd order them in?
Oh,
was that just a Welsh thing?
No, I think I know what you mean. Like it was a magazine, but it had loads of books.
It was like a big leaflet thing, a booklet.
Yeah.
And then you'd get numbers, and if you wanted to, you could cut the last page away,
Yes.
and then put the numbers of what you wanted. You'd hand it into the school library, or into the school, and then like only like 3 kids in the whole school would ever do this.
Yeah.
But then like you'd just get them sent in. Oh, here are your books.
Well, books.
Your books have arrived.
For a long time, books were a child's way of escaping into another world. Books were a child's way of finding something magical, reading about fairies and whatever. But now the way they do that is on their phone. They can watch a YouTube video if they want to escape. They can do all that. So
Yeah.
it is a shame. It's really sad because I think now just because I don't read does not mean I don't see the value in reading. I think reading is fundamental. It's really good for you, and it's good for kids, and it's good for anyone. Personally, I'm just not very good at it, but that's a flaw. I consider that a flaw.
I remember talking to somebody about this. So when I was teaching, and talking about how to encourage children to read, and I stumbled upon a good idea.
Go on. Bribe them.
No, but maybe. It was making a TV show.
Yeah.
Where like the first episode is the TV show, and then the second episode is a PDF that you. So at the end of the first episode, there's a QR code, and you scan it, and then the second episode is it could be a
short story,
like a 20-page little story, and then the third episode is on the TV again, and then it keeps doing that.
That's really good. Or even better,
and you make one of them like an audio story, maybe, or something like that.
That's really good.
Someone's going to nick that now, aren't they?
You could do it as like a whole book. You could do like the first 3 episodes are all filmed, and then the last 3 episodes, to end that story, you have to read a whole book. It's like if you want to know what happens to those characters. That's really good.
I'm annoyed that I've just said that.
That's really good. Well, we've got time before we release this. You can, pitch it.
Who can I contact?
I don't know who you'd contact for that.
Someone. CBC.
It'd have to be
TV.
the children's TV channels in the UK. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, and then there's a QR code at the end, and then they have to read it.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that. Something where like you hook them with the stuff they know, and then you go, well, if you want to know what happens to the characters, you've got to read the book.
Yeah.
That would work for me. That would definitely work for me.
It would work for you now.
Well, it's kind of like fan fiction in a way. Like, I think a lot of kids, probably, and a lot of, young adults, whatever, get a lot of writing and reading from fan fiction. They love something so much, like a TV series, and they want to know more. So they go to, like, fan fiction. They write fan fiction or whatever. So that'd be a similar thing to that, I suppose. That's a very good idea. Yeah.
It's weird, though, because, like, I was just thinking then, like, House of the Dragon is a TV show that I watched, the Game of Thrones spin-off. And I'm thinking, that would work for me if like the last 2 episodes was like a little book or something.
Yeah.
But then the book actually already exists. Yeah. I could find out what happens now,
that's true.
But I'm not reading that book for some reason. I'm there thinking
because but you know the TV show's coming. If you knew the TV show was done,
yeah.
Like if they announce we're not making it anymore, then you might want to read it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's such an interesting way of doing it. That's really good. Yeah, I really want to encourage our kids to read. I think because I read a lot. I loved Jacqueline Wilson books when I was younger. I loved Horrid Henry books. I loved Horrible Histories. I really enjoyed reading. And I remember, my prized possession, my most favourite thing in the world when I was younger was a book, but it was a choose your own adventure book. And it was you're trapped in this castle.
Yeah.
And like, and I remember the pictures so distinctly. And it would say like, okay, it was like a full paragraph of reading. So you had to read and it was like, you get to the castle walls, you can either try to sneak under the gate or you can
climb
go through the thing. Yeah, and then you have to I go to
And
page 6 of the
if it's
thing.
page 6, you go, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that like one page, if you didn't do well, like it always ended and he was a skeleton, and he was a skeleton, and like, but I got to learn that was page like 62. So if it said like turn to page 62, I'd be like, oh man, I'd be like, I said skeleton. But I loved it, and I used to do that over and over and over and over again.
I remember I had one of them. I didn't read all of it.
Loved it.
But it was a Sonic the Hedgehog one.
Oh,
For some
fun.
reason. I remember it was like Sonic the Hedgehog in like some forest or
Yeah,
something.
they're great.
Yeah, it was good.
And
It was
I
good.
remember being so immersed in that it genuinely felt like I was in the castle. It was amazing.
I actually think I read a lot when it came to video games. Because sometimes the games that I played
a lot
didn't
of
have
reading
words, didn't have speaking. It just
Oh.
had like the text at the bottom. That is actually quite a lot of reading. If you compiled it all into one piece of text, that's quite
another way
long.
to get kids to read more, like make really amazing video games, but that do require quite a bit of reading.
We teach kids online, and one way that, like, if I asked a child to read this story, some kids do it. Hey, well done.
But some kids are like,
yeah, some people don't want to do that, but then make them play a game where they have to read out loud all of the
there are loads
text there.
of those, like story games.
Story games. They love that, and they don't even consider it as reading.
No, they forget that they're like we kind of tricked them of like, you're actually reading a story here.
And sometimes I tell them, sometimes I say at the end, you do realise that like you read more today in that game than one page of a book, but one page of a book you would have taken such a long time to read, and you would have thought that's
well, it looks daunting, doesn't it? Like it looks, a big chunk of reading does look daunting, but if you can make it fun, it's a bit like making kids eat vegetables. You chop it up and you put it in something really tasty. It's the same with that. Like just put the reading in stuff that's really fun and really good. But I consider the fact that I don't read, I'm not proud of that. I don't go like, I don't read. Like I wish I read more.
I absolutely wish I read more.
Because I think it's very mindful activity. It's good to do an activity that's just one thing, just reading that book. You're not like doing on your phone as well or whatever, but that's really
People
good.
read a lot when they're on their phones, of course. We read more than we ever have.
It's not
but
worthy
it's not,
reading.
No, of course not. It's not. And you're reading a lot of the same kind of stuff.
So I think like if I was going to get into it, I would have to make me not feel guilty doing it. I would have to view it as like, this is beneficial to my
well-being. Yeah, your
something.
Your attention span.
And like I'd have to view it as like almost like work, almost like it's a project I'm working on, like the same as going to the gym. I go to the gym for my physical health. Maybe I should view reading as something I do for my mental health.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's probably a good thing.
I think something you could do is like set aside a month and just say, okay, I'm going to, after 10 o'clock at night, if I'm still up, I'm not going to, which you was asleep. But after 10 o'clock at night,
that's phone off time.
Phone off, and if I want to be in bed, rather than going on like your phone, just reading.
It's true.
I remember like I usually do that around Christmas time. Somebody usually buys me a book for Christmas, and then like a kind of an autobiography usually.
Non-fiction.
Yeah, footballer.
See? Men.
And then I kind of make it like a bit of a thing around Christmas time of replacing going on my phone with that book.
It's good.
And it's actually quite nice around Christmas time. And then I wonder, why don't I just do that throughout the year?
It's just you fall out of habits in it. I do find it funny. I don't know if you still have it, but for a long time, and I think we still have it, on our bedside tables, we have like a display book. So like I've still got my book that I started last year, and I've still got
it still there?
It's on the side of my bed, and it just gives the appearance that I'm working on a book. Like it kind of gives this appearance that, oh, look at Laura, before she goes to sleep, she reads a book. And for a while you had one as well. You had your Game of Thrones one. It's just so funny that people go into the room and must think, oh, look, they've got their books. Those books are not being read. They're just sat there.
But why not? Because you do say that when you do read, you enjoy it.
Yes, but then I leave it so long that I forget what's happened.
Yeah.
So I look at that book and go, I'm going to have to start that again, probably. That's daunting.
Yeah.
Either way, this is our mission. We're going to get better at reading in 2026.
2026.
Yeah, so I've got another like 4 months to not read. That's nice. And then we'll get into reading. Ow. Right, should we go read a book?
Let's do it.
I'm going to read right now. I'm not.